Part 5. The Arena. Luke lucked out by holding on to the rib behind him. This wagon rocked. It jolted and jarred and leaned. It was clearly designed to hurl them into each other, to test balance or some other footwork skill. He clung to the bone with both arms, reaching all the way around. Nobody liked the rib cage. Nobody liked being tossed around, moving, unable to stand or do anything dignified. It didn't take long for the wagon to tilt weirdly on a hill that Butcher drove up on purpose, knocking some of them into each other, and for them to respond with violence. Luke clung to his rib. Blood flew, and then a head. It bounced off the ribs and rolled, too wide to slide out and away, and that just added to the insanity. The wagon tilted, and the head rolled. Brain and blood slicked the rough wood, thick and mucus-like. Someone tripped over it, onto someone else's horns. The someone else roared and threw the first guy, already impaled, off him. Luke clutched his rib and forced himself to watch, to be aware, to not be prey, to stay alert enough that if he had to move, he could. It was sobering, worse than the flying ship, worse than the fuss in the last lonely inn. It felt like seeing a giant wave coming, or storm clouds rife with lightning. He couldn't possibly win the games, not as he was, but he had to. Parker. He had to. The wagon jolted, sending someone into someone else, causing another pointless fight. And now there was another dead body rolling around, making gore, trapping people when on top of them, making quick exit impossible. It was ridiculous to feel claustrophobic in a giant rib cage open to the sky, but the more piled up bodies lay between Luke and that way out, the worse he felt, and he clung to his rib, utterly overwhelmed.
Parker.
He reminded himself.
Worth it for Parker.
Worth it. He'd make it work. He had to. He would permit himself no other choice. It blurred together after a while. The heat, the dust, the endless wilderness, dry and horrid. The far-off shadow of mountains, too far to consider. The eye pain endemic to sun on flat places, which Luke always thought was snow blindness, but apparently could happen with sand, too. The awful wagon jolting them back and forth, back and forth. The unceasing humming of the butcher. Butcher? Singer, maybe, or really scary guy singer, or the stench of sweat, urine, offal, bile, all the things that spill out of bodies when they are torn apart. How long had they been like this? How far did they have to go? This was horrible. Should he save his water? Should he spend magic to address his soreness and grumpiness? Should he preserve as much as he could? What the hell was waiting for them when they reached the... Oh, there it was. It was taller than the Rust Building. It was wider than City Hall. It made the Recreation Park Stadium look pathetic. It was an enormous shape, vast, black, weirdly spiky, and apparently hidden until they were right on top of the thing. An arena, he understood that, but it seemed bigger than all of San Francisco. The wagon pulled to a stop, and Luke realized he was shaking. His hands buzzed from where he'd been gripping the rib. He was stiff as he stood, sore, weary. He wanted to go into his room and cry. There would be no time right now, and that was just how it had to be. Luke was the last one off the wagon, except for the dead people. He half slid down. The landing nearly bent him double, and he straightened to find the driver right in his face. He yipped, and was immediately ashamed of it, and backed up hard against the wagon.
Did you get lost, laddie?
He wasn't just asking. Luke knew he wasn't just asking. There was something predatory in it, so unblinking, unmoving, still as a rock in the earth.
No, sir.
Who let you come?
The man was all too casual.
No one. I let myself.
Luke was as sharp as he dared.
I don't see you making it very far in this. Well, come along. We'll see if you got anything in you worth facing.
Worth facing? What the hell did that mean? Luke did not wait to find out, and ran to follow the others. There was no entry in this enormous black wall. Everyone gathered there, clustered, looking nervously between the barrier and their guide. The butcher moved between them, casual and unbothered by size or poison or claw, and held up his arm.
Enter takes blood.
And without another word, produced a gigantic blade and sliced himself on the hand. Luke flinched. The Irishman pressed his hand to the ebony wall, and it shuddered, jiggled somehow, as though it had gone from stone to barely set cake. And an entry opened, just opened, completely silent, a black and arching way. Nothing could be seen inside it. Naturally, someone decided to cheat. A quick guy, vaguely snake-like, moved so fast that he was a blur passing Luke, and he almost made it through, except the wall closed on him. And his bottom half fell thumping to the ground, blood and intestines making an enormous, slippery, wretched mess. Luke turned away to gag. The smell.
You'll each have to make your own introduction.
Like that only made sense.
Give her blood and come inside. You'll be picked off out here if you don't.
He touched the wall. It opened again, and he walked into the darkness and was gone. Everyone produced knives or used their claws, or in 3 cases, tore open their flesh with their teeth, and Luke suddenly faced a terrible choice. He could help them. He could heal every single one of these people on the other side, but if he did, his knack would be revealed and his only chance at surprise ruined. Selflessness required offering help. Selfishness, determination to win, required staying silent. He wanted to help. He needed to be helpful. It meant that he had a purpose, a good thing he could do, a reason he mattered. And if he used it now, he might lose whatever slim chance he had at bringing his brother back from the dead. Refusing to help felt like a violation of himself, what he was, what he wanted to be. But somehow, still gagging, Luke stayed silent, and when it was his turn, he slit his hand, pressed it to the wall, jumped as the damn thing bit him, how, and finally stepped through, offering no aid to anyone but himself. So now he felt guilty. Great. Terrific. He was off to a marvelous start. The place was shockingly different inside, whitewashed with black stone peeking through. It was just a tunnel, smooth, curving left and right around the arena. And walking this hall, marching through this enormous space, were things. Some of them were beautiful, strange creatures vaguely feminine in shape, walking on polished points and faceless. Of them were horrible, gross creatures, thousands of eyes in a slimy form, making burbling sounds that seemed far too curious about the newcomers. Some of them were guards, tall and muscled, larger than the largest warrior who'd come through, and they carried swords in multiple arms and wore boots that looked ready to bust walls or heads or anything else in their way. There were visitors or something here as well. Many had luggage, few looked human, but all looked very rich. There was a look to rich people, Luke had learned long ago. It was the way they stood, the way they dressed, the way they viewed the whole world, clearly never expecting to be kicked or robbed or inconvenienced like normal people. It was noisy. There were a lot of languages. Luke swallowed hard and kept with the crowd, who were all following the butcher down the hall.
I suppose you'll all be wondering just how this is going to work.
The Irishman's melodic voice carried neatly over all the sound.
Fair simple like. First, you'll be tested. If you don't pass, well, you're on your own to get out of here. But without a ticket or a writ to fight, you stand a good chance of being et, or perhaps burned for firewood.
He said it so casually that he didn't seem to be joking. Stopped again and banged on the wall with a fist. A door, previously unseen, slid silently open.
Alrighty then. One at a time, in you go.
They all stared at him. Luke had a moment, memorable but unnerving. He understood suddenly that the longer he waited to go in, the worse the wait would be. He could just get it over with and come out triumphant and earn a little respect. Or he could hang out here, wait until they were all done and gone, and no one would witness his triumph. Because he would triumph. Whatever was needed to qualify, he'd do it.
I'll go first.
You?
The butcher smiled.
Well, that is a surprise. Call me Dennis, laddie. In you go. We'll wait.
As if they had any choice. Luke clenched his jaw, gripped his knife, and stepped inside the door.